Somatic means basically your physical body. Soma means your body outside of your mind. So we're talking about someone who is preoccupied with health issues when it regards their body. All right, so these are fixed beliefs that are not amenable to change in light of conflicting evidence.
If I could change one thing in the past, I wouldn't.
So basically, these are fixed, false beliefs that an individual has, and in spite of evidence showing the opposite, the person will not believe you because it's all in their mind.
That's not true.
In Diane's mind, it is a reality. It is not a delusion.
Whatever, I do what I want.
Unfortunately, yes, parasites can live inside people. Something is eating away at my brain, when in actuality, there is nothing there. Oh my gosh, something is wrong with my brain. And then these people came in while I was watching Jeopardy, and they cut open my head, took out my brain, and exchanged it for a good brain. That's bizarre.
Wow.
And then they may go to the doctor.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Dr. Nick.
The doctor may run tests, but guess what? There's nothing to show on the test.
We are very sorry.
Diane may say, you know what? Maybe I'll go to another doctor. And then another, and then another, and then another, and then another. They always are preoccupied that something is wrong with them.
I Googled my symptoms.
Never do that.
Hello, my urbanites. Guess what? You have entered into the Urban Suite with me, Dr. Lisa LaCon. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh my goodness, tonight we're talking about this is my opinion, a very diabolical delusion. To me, one of the most dangerous delusions. And you're going to find out what that delusion is when we come back. So stay with us. We'll be right back. You are entering the Urban Suite with Dr. Lisa LaCon. Let's talk about urban issues plaguing our community.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear.
Let's talk about mental health. Listen, my urbanites, we are on delusions. This is our last delusion, okay? And guess what this delusion is? Nihilistic delusions. Nihilistic delusions are something else. I see Felicia. Thank you, Felicia. Namaste, dear. How are you, Miss Felicia Jackson? Welcome into the Urban Suite. I got to give you a hello. Yes. So listen, this delusion is something else because when you think of the word nihilistic, it means a person that believes in just nothing exists. Everything is like, has no meaning to life. This person is very consumed with death, dying, destruction, and mayhem. And you know what? We're going to get into it after this messages. We'll be right back. All right. Urban Tools for Change Network is sponsored by Bless Ministries Incorporated, BMI, the premier workforce development agency in the state of New Jersey. We are here to serve you. If you have a history of being on parole, if you are on probation, if you are a an adult with a disability, if you are a youth with a disability and you're looking for employment, come check us out at 973-733-WORK. So again, BMI sponsors Urban Tools for Change Network. All right, so we are back, my urbanites. So we are back now with our missing person, and I have always said every time I do a scheduled event, I will highlight someone missing, and this week is no exception. So who do we have? I have to get my readers. We have Providence McNeil. She's been missing. Providence has been missing since October the 26th, 2022. Now, today is November the 1st, 2022. So she's been missing for almost a week. All right. So she's missing from Dallas, Texas. Listen, my folks in Dallas, I need you to watch this. I need you to share. I need you to like so that we can bring Providence home. She's only 17 years old. Only 17 years old, you guys. She's been missing from Texas. She's female, black, complexion is medium. She's 5'2". She's 230 pounds. Her hair color is sandy. Her hair length is long and her eye color is brown. Her location last seen, Providence has been missing from Dallas, Texas since October 26, 2022, and circumstances of her disappearance is unknown. So this, this gives me pause because they don't know the location that she was last seen. So anyway, I don't know. Anyone with information, please contact the Dallas Police Department. Area code 214-744-4444. I'm going to repeat that. I'm going to say it slower, but I give it up for Dallas Police because their number is so easy. Area code 214-744-4444. That's for my Spotify people, my iHeart Radio folks, my Facebook podcast. That is the number. Area code 214-744-4444. She's missing. She's 17 years old. This is someone's child, someone's relative. Please, let's bring her home. And you can call BAMFI, Black and Missing Foundation Incorporated, at 877-97-BAMFI. Let's bring Providence home. All right. So with that said, I can take off my readers. All right. So we've been talking about delusions. All right. So what are delusions? Delusions are these fixed, remember the key word is fixed beliefs, but fixed faulty beliefs. They really don't exist. Fixed beliefs that are not amenable to change in light of conflicting evidence as per DSM-5. So these are fixed, meaning you can't unglue it. You can't take it apart. They're just so ingrained, like, ugh. So we already covered the 5. We covered persecutory. We covered referential, grandiose, erotomanic, somatic, and now nihilistic. So tonight, this delusion, and I have to say this, thank God that about only 1% of the population have this delusion, because this delusion is very diabolical in that it is always focused on death. It's always focused on dying. It's always focused on destruction, calamity, every negative thing that you can think about. The person that is diagnosed with this delusion has that in their mindset. They are so fixed on death, dying, wherever they go, calamity is going to strike. This person is sort of like pessimistic times 100. Times 100. Now, it's very interesting about this delusion, because this delusion, because it's so few of the general population that has it, they're still doing research on this delusion. And the only thing that I read that can assist is, of course, medication. But they're also looking into cognitive behavioral therapy. So say, for instance, let's use Johnny this week. I told you, always use the names Johnny or Diane. So Johnny has been diagnosed with this delusion, nihilistic delusion. Johnny will believe every morning when he wakes up that he's going to die. Now, this is outside of Johnny receiving a medical report, medical documentation from his or her or his physician. There's nothing, no basis for Johnny to believe that he's going to die every single time that he wakes up. Also, let me show you how demonic this delusion is. Johnny, depending on the depth of this delusion, will also believe that he is already dead. Listen, Johnny may believe that he is already dead, and who he is around is in his universe of death also. Man, let me tell you, this delusion, like I said, I thank God that only about 1% of the general population have this delusion, because this delusion, it can heighten suicidal tendencies, because you go through life having no meaning of anything except calamity. So, what is the 4-letter word that starts with the letter F that I talk about all the time in the Urban Suite? Now, for you guys, you need to get your mind out the gutter, because this is a show based on not that topic. Madame Devon is not around, but it's a 4-letter word. It's fear. The person with this delusion is fearful of every single thing. This person will be hard pressed to have a job, to get employed, because they will assume in their mind, that what's the point of going to their job? Because if they went to their job, somebody's going to blow it up, or someone's going to come in there with a gun and shoot them all, or somebody's going to do something horrendous. So they operate in the spirit of fear. And what did I say about fear? I said God didn't give us the spirit of fear, but power, love, and a sound mind. The person that has this delusion operates in fear and does not have a sound mind, and they do not operate in power. In fact, it's the total opposite, because what they operate in is being defeated. They will stay in their cocoon each and every day with hopes that something does not happen to them. But what did I just say? The key word. I said every day. Every day, Johnny wakes up and nothing happens to Johnny. Johnny will wake up on a Sunday, nothing will happen. Johnny will wake up on a Monday and nothing will happen. Johnny will wake up on a Tuesday. He may read a story and say that a hurricane happened, and Johnny may say, I knew it. Well, come on. Johnny, that is bound to happen. Natural disasters are bound to happen. However, they may not happen just because you entered into the city, or you entered into the state, or you entered into that country. No, it's all in your mind. It is a fixed delusion. And oftentimes, again, we talked about the pathway to these delusions. One is a chemical imbalance. And I talked about a person who has been diagnosed with schizophrenia, a person who has been diagnosed with schizoaffective disorder. And then number two, substances such as alcohol or some other type of illicit drugs, cocaine, things of that nature, to shape your brain, okay? To shape, in a sense, the landscape of your brain to make you believe these things exist, but they really don't. And then trauma. So the person, say for instance, Johnny may have grown up in a household where calamity struck once a week. Calamity struck every single month in his household. So now Johnny, as an adult, will automatically assume that the people he surrounds himself with will bring about calamity. This one right here, this delusion is very interesting because, again, out of all of them, I believe this one can be the most harmful to the individual who possesses this delusion. Very, very, how should I say? Yeah, it's very harmful. Curtis, you have any questions?
Yeah. Well, just on this one to pack it in with the others, you already started making the distinction, but did you want to like summarize how all of the delusions play?
Okay, sure. All right. So the first one, purgatory. So purgatory, you feel like everyone is out to get you. Everyone is out to do some type of harm and danger, and you can become paranoid times 10. So a person with schizophrenia can be diagnosed with purgatory delusions. Now, see, the next one is referential. Referential is you believe and assume that everyone is referencing you, whether good or bad. So say, for instance, if you turn on the TV, you turn on the news, there may be a newscaster, and you may think that she has some type of code, and that code is specifically targeting you. That's referential. And then we have grandiose. Grandiose is when you believe that you have the cure for cancer, that you hang out with all the celebrities, that you're very wealthy, you're a know-it-all, you're just the bomb. Okay. And then erotomanic is you believe that people that you don't know are in love with you, that people are infatuated by you. And then we have nihilistic, which is tonight, which is basically doom, death, calamity, all of these presenting itself pretty much all at once. And then you have somatic. Somatic is when you are overly concerned about your health. You believe, fixed belief, that you have some type of organ damage, you have some type of skin damage. There's something wrong with your body, not your mind, because soma, which I talked about last week, talks about your physical body. So you may assume that you may have rheumatoid arthritis. You may assume that you may have an acquired brain injury. There's something wrong physically with your body. So you think, but it's just a fixed false belief. which again can occur in people who have been diagnosed with schizophrenia and schizoaffective. And I talked about schizoaffective disorder, which is a combination of schizophrenia plus a mood disorder. So not only with schizoaffective do you have the delusions, you have also these moods that you can become very manic, which means very hyper, things of that nature, like, or you can become depressed, very low. So it's very interesting. Now, a person does not have to have all of them. They can be diagnosed with one or two of them, as long as it is done, of course, by a licensed professional. But you cannot go around diagnosing yourself. You can't go around diagnosing your cousin unless you have a license to do so. So some folks are undiagnosed that we don't know about. So if you know someone that is always talking about the negative things, always is gloom and doom, those are people that you may not want to be around, but oftentimes there's some presenting trauma that they have experienced. If they are not used to using drugs, or they have another psychiatric disability such as schizophrenia or schizoaffective disorder. Now, remember the bear effect that I talked about, beliefs expected as reality. This delusion, yes, beliefs expected as reality, this delusion is definitely the bear effect. And then you see the historical data, and I talked about the historical data, whereas the historical data talks about basically the traumatic event happened to you personally. You were the target. And then we have the next one, which is the witness data. You weren't the target, but you were there. You observed it. You witnessed a traumatic event. And then you have the hearsay data, whereas you heard about it through a third party. You were not there. You were not the target, but you heard it via social media. You heard it via a newspaper, some type of media outlet. So this Thursday, we're going to talk about Takeoff and unfortunately his death. But this is going to tie in because they had a video of it that I saw of the gunshot wound to his head, and unfortunately his blood out. So say, for instance, that's traumatic for people to see. That would be what, Curtis, out of those 3 data points?
That would be, it's sort of witness data, but it's historical data too, because it's traumatizing, right?
No, wrong. Where's my buzzer? Where's my thing? Where's my buzzer? Hi, Jessica. Hi, Jesse. Let's see. Jesse is here. Jesse Burns. What's happening, Jesse? No,
I said witness data first, though.
No, not witness.
No?
Nope.
What is it?
It is hearsay data.
Why?
Because it's through the media. I wasn't there physically.
But you did. It was like you was there because you saw the video of it.
No. Witness data is you were there physically. Like the people in the people in the bowling alley, that's witness data. Because they were there physically with him.
See, because this is what I was going to bring up. This is a question I was going to bring up. Like we were saying, like factors and reasons causing these things, and you talked about, genetic things. You talked about, substance abuse and trauma. But I think a big factor is environmental, like what people learn.
Oh, yeah. Well,
like
all of those data points are environmental. It's what happened to you in your environment.
But I mean, like, just like people learn how to behave. Like that's like they were taught those things. Like when you were saying about Jeffrey Dahmer and stuff like that, like he wasn't necessarily his mother kind of raised him like real weird or something like that.
Well, that is true. That is true.
So like
So
People
the
have been-
different data points, bring up the bear effect, and then I'll go through it again because you done got it. All right. So you have historical data. That means, say, for instance, you were the target and a traumatic event happened to you specifically. So, like me, the dogs chased me. That was like, okay, that was my traumatic experience in the environment in which I live. So, all of these are environmental factors. Number two, you have the witnessed data. So, my sister was there. Now, she says she doesn't remember. She probably doesn't. But what if my sister was there? The dogs did not attack her, but she saw the dogs attack me, her little sister. That's witnessed data because now she is inputting that data in her little memory bank of what happened to me, little Lisa. But the dogs did not attack her, but she was physically there. And then the next one is hearsay data. So what if the dogs did attack me, the news caught wind of it, and then took pictures of it, spread it out over the news, and then you have an older couple that walks on that street. They see the news. Now they're going to have a level of anxiety that's going to be heightened as a result of seeing the news. Now, that couple, they weren't there physically when it happened, but they are in the environment in a sense of where it occurred. So now, rather than walking on Tuckerman Street, they're going to choose another street to walk on because what the media did, the media sort of changed their mindset and heightened their anxiety about walking and doing their natural route. So rather than them going on their natural route, they're changing their natural route. So for me, when I saw the image, I've seen images like that before, but what if I had never seen an image like that before and I saw it via social media? That would be a very traumatic experience for me. It could be. Now, how it manifests itself is sort of like fingerprints. It can manifest itself in different ways. We all have different ways of coping. We all have different ways of dealing with trauma and dealing with stressors. So it's sort of like, there were several people around him as he laid down. They were in the bowling alley. So that would be witnessed data. They actually witnessed firsthand a traumatic experience.
That makes sense. That makes sense. It's just that I guess the part that confused me was that, like, sometimes when you see stuff on social media, it's like they record it as it happened. So you're seeing the replay of somebody get shot or something like that, and it seems like, do you have to actually be in a room to be traumatized by that if you still see it?
No, because that's hearsay data.
Yeah.
That's hearsay. So you have different levels. And then what I'm going to add to that anxiety is fear. So that trauma can shape your level of not only anxiety, but the spirit of fear that you now have as a result of experiencing trauma.
So does that mean you won't be playing in any dice games at 2:30 in the morning now?
Right, exactly.
That
So
deterred you from that?
some people may totally change as a result and say, you know what? I need to be home at 11 o'clock or 9 p.m. and not, but we're not going to talk about that because we're going to get into it on Thursday at 7 o'clock in the Urban Suite. I have a lot of things to talk about when it comes to that issue and other things that I am experiencing based on the work that I do firsthand with our community. So Thursday, we're doing a special. I wish I had a thing for a special beep 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 beep.
No, I don't think
Breaking news, breaking news.
Yeah, we don't have that.
So yes, 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 yes.
Well, lastly, did you want to just because you didn't really get to speak on like how bizarre delusions versus regular. Could you just speak about the themes of the
Yeah.
types of
All right.
delusions real quick?
So yes.
And that before we
So
go out.
these bizarre delusions are things that are pretty much impossible. Okay. So when I say impossible and implausible, so basically a person that will have a bizarre delusion, they will believe that perhaps something is wrong with them internally, like with their brain or their heart. And then they will say, remember, this is a fixed false belief that while they were home, some aliens came and abducted them. And while they were abducted, the alien transferred their heart to someone else. Now, when you have a heart operation, typically you have doctors, there's a scar, there's some type of evidence. They don't do it in your bedroom. They don't do it, in the comfort of your home. So
What if they had special alien technology though?
Yeah, okay.
They could have. It was a special thing that only aliens have it. That's why there's no scar. That's a whole thing. They're advanced. They don't leave a scar. Everybody knows that already, though.
Oh God, that's the truth. Yes,
that's a bad
that's what they think.
Yeah,
that's what they think, or that someone came in their room and took their heart out, and there's no evidence of it. There's no evidence that their heart was removed. There's no blood. There's no instruments, tools, no doctor. And then they may think, oh, I feel better because my heart was removed last night. And I gave my heart to someone else. So that's very bizarre, very strange. So that is the difference between bizarre. So all of these delusions can have a sprinkle of them being bizarre. Now, the difference between, say, for instance, what we're talking about tonight. So if a person says that they're sick and that they're dying, well, the reality is every day we are dying. We do have an expiration date. So there's nothing bizarre about that. But when you are so fascinated by it, when you are so consumed by that thought, it can become somewhat bizarre, especially if you say that you have some type of evidence and proof. So you can have like imagining impossible situations. That's the, types of delusions, the categories. That is bizarre. It's really impossible for it to happen. So then you have the non-bizarre, imagining possible solutions. Like, you know what? Johnny could love Diane and Diane could love Johnny. That's a possibility. Yeah, it is a possibility. And then it can occur like manic or depressive state. So you can go high or low, or it can happen without any type of mood being associated with it at all. So those are the categories of delusions. So if you find that now this is fixed, so it's very challenging and difficult, but if you find or believe that a member of your family has it, or a friend, a colleague, do not be confrontational. Don't be confrontational. Just listen to them. All right. Now, remember, you're not a therapist. So don't try to put on that therapist hat, because you can make them go a little more over the edge in a sense. You need to be very supportive. And when they start to discuss these things, try to deflect the situation. Try to say something like, well, you know what? You look good and you're healthy and you woke up another day. And yesterday you said that, and today nothing happened to you. And then you'll probably wake up tomorrow also. and nothing happened to you yesterday. So that's how you have to. And then, like I said, don't be confrontational at all. Be very supportive. Again, the research is out regarding this delusion, because very few people have this delusion. So if very few people have this delusion, they haven't really done many studies about this delusion. So what I did read was that they're tapping into cognitive behavioral therapy when it comes to this delusion, dealing with people's cognitions and belief system. Because when you're dealing with people's belief system, that's what you're dealing with, the cognition. And it's a very, like I said, in my opinion, this is one of the most dangerous, harmful delusions, because a person that has this delusion can be so fixated on trying to end his or her life because they believe that there is no hope. This person actually has no peace while they, in a sense, are floating through life. They have no peace because they are consumed with fear. Consumed with fear. And again, fear is a very powerful spirit. It's very debilitating. In fear, there is hate. And in fear, you do not have a sound mind. So again, I will break that down because the word of God says, for God did not give us the spirit of fear, but power, love, and a sound mind. The opposite of power is debilitating. The opposite of love is hate. The person that has this delusion, they hate waking up in the morning and to be confronted with the same delusion, harmful delusion. And they don't have a sound mind because they assume every single day that wherever they go, calamity is going to strike. So it's very challenging, very, very challenging. You have any other questions, Curtis?
No, but because you brought up fear, I was thinking we could show last week's phobia sneak peek before we go out with the credit.
Sure. Yes, we can do that. So, my urbanites, thank you for coming into the Urban Suite where you laugh, learn, cry, and grow. We are here every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the Urban Suite with me, Dr. Lisa LaCon. So tune in. Also, I am on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Facebook, all of those platforms. Definitely, I need you to like, I need you to share, and I thank you for coming into the Urban Suite. So do you want to do that sneak peek now, or should I say, Molly, take me away?
Yes, let's do it now, and then we'll let Molly take us away after.
All right. So with that, bye, my urbanites. Mwah. Love you. And Molly, take us away after the sneak peek. Good night. Vexophobia.
Yeah.
The fear of wasps.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, chronophobia. The fear of the future. Technophobia. The fear of technology. I think my mom even had that. She still had AOL. Okay, what is this? The fear of loud noises.
Yeah.
Lygrophobia.
Mm-hmm.
Shadophobia. The fear of others' hair. What?
Yes.
The fear of fat people.
Cacomorphobia.
What?
Yep.
I'm not fat, I'm big boned. You can't slim down bones, stupid.
Bathyphobia, the fear of depths, lakes, tunnels, caves.
Like,
well, I want to skydive. I do want to skydive.
But what's the purpose of it besides the adrenaline of the fear of being almost about to die?
I want the wind to blow my hair. Omphallophobia, the fear of belly buttons. Well, you don't have to see everybody's belly button.
No. But maybe when they do see them, then they freak out a little bit.
Okay. Pogonophobia, the fear of beards.
Yes.
I can see that. I can
really?
see if, if something's violent.
Santa Claus.
Oh, well, he looks creepy.
The kids love Santa Claus.
Yes, sitting on his lap.
The kids supposed to love Santa Claus, though, I thought.